So we're in a phase that technology is becoming more and more exponential, and also the degrees of adoption and the speed of adoption for some of those technologies is also much faster than it used to be.
So I think you said like Selnet is for pretty much any industry. Was there any industry that Selnet cannot help out?
Any industry in the private sector that needs any sort of IT or telecom, such as cybersecurity, network, IoT, digital twins, AI, expense management, UCaaS, CCaaS, any sort of IT or telecom stack we can help with.
So with all these industries, all these tech stacks, all the stuff you're doing, all the different companies, all the partners, like how do you keep track of all this stuff, right? Is there some kind of master database y'all go to? Like, 'cause that's a lot.
There is a massive database, and then we have solutions architects that are experts in their respective verticals. So one of them might be super good at cybersecurity and be very familiar with everything cybersecurity. Another one might be an expert in network and be very familiar with everything that we have to offer around network. Another one might be the one for expense management. Another one might be the one for cloud. So we try to have those different experts for each particular vertical.
And so all these partners, like pretty well established companies. Like can a kind of like a random startup reach out to you? Hey, my startup is ABC company. We do, we're a brand new robotics IoT company out of wherever. Want to be one of your partners, or that's like too early?
If what they do is very unique and very differentiated, and it provides very good value, we would be happy to work with them. As a matter of fact, we've done it in the past with some relatively small companies or startups, but what they were providing was incredible.
Is there anyone else doing this, like what you're doing?
Yeah. There's many companies that might be doing something similar. A lot of them, what they do is they're called resellers.
Okay.
So they have a very similar model, but they resell. So
more like middlemen or middle salesmen or something like that.
And they put their pricing on top.
Okay.
Right, and they put more often than not, they even put like their label, right?
Like a white label thing,
Yeah.
so to speak.
So they might be selling network or cyber or whatever it is, but they put their name on it and they put their pricing on top of it. We don't like to do that for many reasons.
So we're both located in a neighborhood in Seattle called Pioneer Square. So you're in the expansive building. How long have y'all been in the expansive building?
Since October 2024.
And were you someplace else before, or?
Yeah, we were at the Columbia Tower.
Okay, Columbia Tower. So why Pioneer Square? Versus all the places you could go to for your business.
So we grew, and we needed some sort of more formalized, permanent office space for people to come in and work together. We look at a lot of different options in the area, and we wanted a place that A, would be nice, but B, would also be affordable, and C, also hopefully have a good community on it, right? And so that one met all of the criteria.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Pioneer Square, right? I mean, there's so many restaurants, bars, like my rent's like dirt cheap. Before I moved here, I used another space. It was like $1,000 a month, and they want to raise it $2,000 a month. It's like half the size of this, so I'm paying like $650, I think, for everything, right? But I do wish there was like less riffraff, for lack of a better term, right?
Yes, and a little bit more safety and a little bit more cleanliness.
I mean, like I've never seen anything happen, but you always said, like I think a couple of weeks ago, someone got murdered like at 3 a.m, like a couple of blocks away. Of course, I'm not gonna be at 3 a.m, of course. So but yeah.
Well, I don't know about that particular aspect, but there's things that should be fairly easy to do.
Yeah.
Such as keep the streets clean and free of drug use.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been in your office one time, and like the window where your office is, you look down. There's always like people right there sleeping in the streets, doing like whatever they're doing, right? So that can be very conducive to your business, like bringing a particular client over. You look out the window, like there's some illegal activity going on. So that can be the best thing either, but But generally, I like this area a lot, right? I just like the atmosphere, the history,
Exactly, but thinking about the fact that we are one of the richest cities in the world. And thinking about the tremendous budget that is allocated
all that
towards
money and nothing's been solved as far as I can
solving
tell.
that, right? There might be a very significant gap somewhere.
Yeah, this is my theory. I have nowhere to prove. I just think there's like, I think a lot of these like organizations who are like made like fail to solve the problem, they're like, you know, they get paid six-figure salaries, right, and they're not solving anything, right? So like, why solve a problem like and you lose your job, right? It's kind of like counterproductive, right?
There might be some very clear conflicts of interest in some
Yeah.
places.
I don't know. It's like I always say, like people way smarter than me, way more money than me, haven't figured out yet, right? So I have no hope of solving it, right?
We can talk about that more over beer.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So you talk about the sum, but go in more detail, like how Selnet got started. Well, first of all, let me go backtrack. Selnet, is that like any significance to that name?
Yeah, so Selnet is like the Skynet, but for sales.
Okay,
So instead of Skynet, Selnet.
okay, nice. And
But
do you, Andre, come the name together or?
I'm glad you asked, because that was gonna be my next point. Is even the name was chosen out of AI options.
Mm-hmm.
So we used AI, and mind you, like this is two years ago, right? So it was very early days for AI. But the name was done with AI, the logo was done with AI, the website was done with AI, our first presentations were done with AI. That's why we try to infuse and apply AI to everything that we do and that we can.
That's actually one of my pet peeves right now. Like you go on LinkedIn and someone posts, there's too much AI, there's too much that, don't be original. Like to me, like if I'm gonna like use a company and they say, like suppose I'm picking a marketing company, one says we use AI, one says they don't. Like I'm going to the ones that use AI, right? Like what are you doing, right? This isn't the 1980s no more, right? Like use the current technology, use the tools you have to make it better, you know?
Yeah, it goes back to, for example, doing finance, right? The very beginning you had to deal with pen and paper. Then, you know, you were lucky if you could use a calculator. Then you had Microsoft Excel, right? Now you can just ask the AI. At the end of the day, what's going to make you more productive so that you can allocate your time in the areas that you can truly provide value, right? Probably I cannot provide a lot of value spending a bunch of my time doing accounting.
Yeah.
You know, even though, you know, I might be okay at it, maybe not. But my time is better spent somewhere else. So it does make sense for me to try to put as much automation as I can into the areas where I, within my person, cannot provide too much value. And even in the areas where I can provide a lot of value with my current knowledge and skills, those can be enhanced by having the right tools, or in this particular case, you know, the help and support of AI.
Yeah, I kind of compare AI now to like back in the day when like calculators first came out. I'm aging myself. Calculators first came out. All the teachers like you're not gonna have a calculator in your pocket all the time. You'll do it manually, right? But now like everyone has like a phone, like you know, just typing the numbers, right? I think AI is kind of the same way, you know. I know someone put a post on LinkedIn where they did a study, right? And the study supposedly said people that use ChatGPT, their brain level they're like it was proving they're getting dumber and dumber because they use their brain. Like I want to see the peer review, right? Because like I use it all the time. I know people use AI all the time, and it's like they're getting smarter, right? That they're not asking better questions, better like details, right? So I said I don't know if I believe the study here, right?
I guess it depends on how you use it, right? There might be people that are just delegating pretty much every decision to AI, right? And there might be people that they're very thorough about
definitely
their situation. They want to have additional analysis and additional points of consideration, and probably cover some blind spots that they might have in their assumptions.
Yeah.
And then their thinking actually gets enhanced.
And that's I think too. Yeah. And plus, you know, like for me when I use it, I always go through like 3 times, like you know, reanalyze it, you know, redo this again, you know. Sometimes I'll take on some of ChatGPT and cross over to Claude, you know, like get both, you know, both perspectives, you know.
Exactly, and there's also not everyone uses AI the same way, right? As the examples that we have discussed, but also there's people who say, AI, tell me about this.
Yeah.
3, 5, 10 words max, right? And there's people who have a prompt.
Yeah.
That is 10
prompt
lines.
engineering is a thing.
Yeah, exactly. With consider all of these things and think about this way, etc. Right? And so there's a lot of thought that has been put into that prompt and that request.
I mean, there's a bit of difference between saying do a plan for, you know, open a restaurant versus create a detailed plan where I serve X, Y, B, open this, this, and this.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the use.
Yeah. So we all talk about Selnet some, but go in more detail about like how Selnet got started, what the focus is now, what the big dream vision is for Selnet into the future.
Um, so the vision is to try to help as many businesses as we can in their IT and telecom needs. That's the vision. But we don't want to sacrifice on the quality of that level of attention and advisory that we provide at no cost. So it will scale until we reach the limit in those certain metrics, right? And ideally, we do very well, and a good exit would also be welcomed. But if that exit doesn't come, at least hopefully we will have fun with it, help people, provide value, and do good things in the journey.
So telecom, are the laws for telecom pretty much the same across the United States, or like each state, each city have different laws regarding telecom and like regulations, that kind of stuff?
It depends for which things. So, for example, for network competition, different states have different rules. When it comes to regulating utilities, also different states have different rules. So yeah, I would say each state is somewhat different.
So how does this work? I always want to know this, right? Like, suppose like here in Seattle, there's like those Comcast or Lumen. Like I use Atlas Networks for my internet. Do they all use like the same bandwidth, same cables? How does that work?
Well, that's probably a better question for Andre.
Okay, okay,
But as far as I understand, there's what you would consider the main pipelines,
hmm
right? And then there's the sub pipelines.
okay,
And then there's companies that rent both the main pipelines as well as the small pipelines.
okay,
And the same with cell towers and everything else, right? So there's the ones that build it, the ones that operate them, the ones that are the carriers, and then the ones that lease it or rent it or whatever it is. So there might be many different players in many different shapes.